Welcome to yet another lesson of the Cinematic VR Crash Course. I hope you're still having fun. Your brand new camera films on all sides at the same time, so everything around us is in view, including you and any satellites you might want to use. On top of that, the points where you stitch your images together, called stitch lines or scenes, are very sensitive areas. If people walk through these lines while being too close to the camera, this can result in nasty stitching artifacts which are hard to fix in post-production. So it is important to think about these topics in advance, which will save you a lot of headaches later on. The best approach we found is to create a comprehensive script. This script does not just include lines for your actors, in case you are using actors of course, but also several points which require special attention in cinematic VR scripts. A description of the entire scene, including what you want the viewer to look at, as well as everything around it. Block diagrams detailing all actors, objects and motion in the scene. A detailed description of the soundscape, because directional sounds can be important tools to draw the attention of the viewer to a certain place in the scene. A light plan is also crucial. And finally, think about where you and your crew will be as well as how you will direct the scene. Let's dive a bit deeper into each of these points. First off, describing your scene. In regular filmmaking, you work with frames and therefore you only have to describe what will be visible in the actual frame. With cinematic VR content there are no frames, since you are filming all around. Therefore, it is crucial to describe the entire scene. It's simply not enough to only describe the part where the action is happening, because your viewers can decide to look somewhere else. Also, keep in mind that your scenes cannot be too short, because this will confuse your viewers. Cinematic VR is not the same as regular film. You'll have to give your viewers some time to adjust and look around in each scene. So out go the quick cuts that Hollywood loves so much. Block diagrams are often used by filmmakers to create a floor plan of where the actors, cameras and other objects will be positioned. We use a slight variation of these highly useful diagrams to deal with the peculiar setup of a 360 video shoot. These diagrams are a great way to visualize your scene in one clear overview. Here's an example. You see that the diagram is a circle, with the 360 camera placed in the middle and the red circle around it to indicate the minimum distance actors and objects need to be from the camera to minimize parallax issues, which is about 1.5 meters in our case. We called this area the glitch zone. 6 lines coming from the center represent the approximate location of the stitch lines. This helps to visualize these fragile points so the choreography can be planned around them. The amount of stitch lines and their locations depend on which camera rig you are using. Every actor has its own color, as listed in the legend on the side. Besides actors, important objects are also shown in the diagram. If there is movement in the scene, arrows are used to describe the motion path, which is what a viewer would see when looking straight ahead from his or her initial position while wearing a VR headset. The circle with the number 1 in it represents what is most likely the first thing a viewer would see in a scene. Front view and first view are often the same, but if your first scene ends with most action happening on the left, then the viewer will most likely still be looking to the left when the second scene starts. Hence, the first view of your second scene is in this case to the left instead of straight ahead. For us, these block diagrams are invaluable in planning a shoot. Hopefully they will help you out as well. Next up, the soundscape. How do you plan to use audio to guide and immerse your viewers? With an ambisonic microphone you can record sound from all sides, but if you have actors or other important audio sources in your scene, you might want to pin a lapel mic onto them. These audio sources can then later be mixed into your ambisonic recording in order to amplify them. Directional audio cues can be a great way to direct the attention of your viewers to a certain part of your scene. So think about how you can use these to your advantage. Another typical problem you'll encounter is how to light your scene without having your lamps in full view. You could opt for indirect lighting by placing a light source outside of a window, for example. Natural lighting might be sufficient when you are outside. For indoor scenes, you could use regular lamps that are part of the scene as your light source. In any case, you will have to be creative on this front, so thoroughly think your light plan through in advance. Yes, you and your crew will also have to leave the scene, unless you want to star in it of course, so think about where you'll hide. However, hiding means you'll not be able to see what is happening on set. Since only the high-end cameras offer live preview during recording, adding a few GoPros to your tripod connected with HDMI could also work to have some sort of live preview. The most precise way to check if the content you shot is any good is of course by quickly stitching it and then viewing it in a VR headset. But this is usually not really an option, since it's way too time consuming. As you can see, there are a lot of things to pay attention to. This is why it's crucial to rehearse your scenes over and over, so that you and your actors know exactly what to do and possibly even more important, what not to do on the day of the actual shoot. Approach your shoot therefore as a theater play rather than a movie shoot. This way you won't have to redo your scenes a million times, since it's not possible, or at least not easy, to cut certain parts of a 360 scene out and redo only that part. The entire scene has to be recorded in one go, so rehearse and then rehearse again. This also gives the actors and extras a chance to get the feeling for the medium. It's a good idea to use tape to make the stitch lines visible to everyone involved during the rehearsals. To summarize, preparation is essential and helps you minimize stitching errors and will ensure your shoot goes smoothly. In your script, describe all the details of each scene, not only the parts of the scene where the action is happening, as all the surroundings are in view as well. Use block diagrams to visually describe a scene and all the actors' objects and actions in it. Think in advance about how you can use spatialized sounds and audio cues to enhance your content. Create a light plan so you have a clear idea about how you are going to light your scenes without having big studio lights in view. Also, consider where you and your crew are gonna hide during the shoot and how you are going to view what is being filmed. Finally, rehearse, rehearse, rehearse. Now that you planned out your entire shoot, it is finally time to pack your gear and capture your first cinematic VR content. In the next lesson, we get to the good stuff, the shoot itself.